Hello future CS, welcome back to my channel again. If you are a CA final student gearing up for the IBS paper, this video is going to be a game changer for your preparation. So I watched the recent ICI BOS webinar and in this video I'll be sharing the key insights straight from the source, including from where to study, the latest question paper pattern, important strategic models and concepts, the types of MCQs you can expect, and much more. We'll also talk about how to structure your answers, the three levels of assessment ICI uses for descriptive questions, and we'll also see how to crack case studies using a step-by-step approach. Plus, I'll also highlight the past exam trends and how you can strategically prepare based on the weightage. So guys, grab your notebooks and let's decode IBS the smart way. Also guys, there were two webinars. So each of this webinar was of 2 hours each. So almost 4 hours of effort to just watch those webinars plus 1 more hour to prepare this video. So a lot of effort has gone in preparing this video. So guys, if you are new to my channel, I request you all to subscribe and hit that bell icon below so that you can get notified whenever I post new videos. So guys, when you visit my channel in the playlist section, you can see there is a separate playlist for CA final exam. And there is also playlist for CA final auditing, CA final AFM, and also there is a playlist for this case scenario booklet where I'll be adding more videos by solving the case scenario questions. There is also a playlist as CA for students. In this I have made some videos demonstrating different techniques in which you can use CA while preparing for your CA exams. So please visit my channel and you can watch all of these videos. So let's start the video. So this is the syllabus for the IBS paper. So all the three subjects of group 1 and paper 4 and paper 5 of group 2 and self-paced online module set A, corporate and economic loss, and self-paced online module set B, strategic cost and performance management. So case study may be asked from any of these topics. So ensure you carry the study material for all of these subjects for the exam. So the first point discussed in this webinar was the source from where you should be studying. So the first source is the case study digest. So this is a highly valuable resource. This features more than 50 case studies from diverse sectors such as the beverage industry, specifically tea segment, also from e-commerce, transportation, telecommunication, aviation, food and hospitality, construction, healthcare, fashion, etc. So each of these case study provides an in-depth analysis of contemporary business models and innovative strategies driving success in these industries. Hence, it is very important to go through this case study digest, as this will give you an idea of how a case study will be given from different segments. The next source from where you should be studying is the RTP, that is the revision test paper. And then you have to also go through the student journal. So in every month student journal, there will be different type of case study given specifically for IBS subject. So do not forget to go through this student journal as well because it is very important. And the next source is the mock test paper. So in this webinar, it was suggested to attempt the mock test paper. There will be 2 series of mock test paper released for every attempt. So it was suggested to attempt this mock test paper in the exam like condition itself. That is, you have to attempt the mock test paper in 4 hours time and if possible try to attempt it in the same time as the exam time. And after you complete your mock test paper, the answers for this will be hosted in the ICI website. So you can compare your answer with the ICI answer and you can see as to what went wrong and how you can improve your scores. And also attempting mock test paper for IBS will give you an experience as to how you have to attempt in open book exams. That is how quickly you can refer the study material and how quickly you can find out the concepts from your study material. The next point discussed in this webinar was the question paper pattern. So the manner of assessment for this paper would be 40% is by the way of MCQs and 60% in the form of descriptive question. There will be 5 case studies of 25 marks each, out of which you will have to attempt any 4 questions. And in each case study, there will be MCQs to the tune of 10 marks and other descriptive questions to the tune of 15 marks, which may involve computation, application, analysis, etc., which we will see when we go ahead in this video. The next important point discussed in this webinar was the important strategic models or strategic concepts based on which the case study will be designed in your exam. So around 40 to 45 strategic models was mentioned in this webinar, and it was also suggested that for each of this strategic model you can prepare a summary and you can carry it in the form of notes to your exam. As this is an open book exam, you can refer that also. So first let's go and see what are these important strategic models or concepts. So these are the various strategic models or concepts based on which question might be asked in your exam. So please pause the video at relevant places and note down these model names. So competitive advantage, value proposition, Osterwalder's business model canvas, industry profitability, basis of competition, industry key success factors, understanding customers and markets, value chain, Ansough's matrix. Gain sharing arrangements, downsizing, outsourcing, offshoring. Porter's five forces model, information technology in strategic context, product life cycle strategies, supply chain management, pricing strategies, digital technologies, business ecosystems. Hyper competition, transformation and disruption. Hyper disruptive business models, models relevant to sustainability, models relevant to emerging national markets, advanced manufacturing, lean startups, agile organizations, startups versus incumbents, intrapreneurship, innovative hubs and incubators, supply chain partnerships, strategic response to new business models, strategic performance management, role of performance management in business integration. McKinsey's 7S framework, influence of organization structure, culture and strategy. Strategic performance issues in complex business structures. Behavioral aspects. Predicting and preventing corporate failure. Kano's performance attributes. CSF's KPIs. ROI, RI and EVA. Balanced scorecard. building block model, performance pyramid, triple bottom line. Actually, these concepts are covered in the self-paced online module set B. The next important point discussed in this webinar was the different types of MCQ that will be asked in the exam. So basically 4 different types of MCQs may come in this exam. The first one is MCQ with multiple correct answer. So these questions have more than one correct option. You need to select all the correct options to get full marks. Partial answers usually don't get you any marks. The next type of MCQ that might come in this exam is assertion reasoning. That is, two statements are provided. The first one is an assertion and a reason. You must judge if both are correct and whether the reason actually explains the assertion. And the third type of MCQ which might come in this exam is not type MCQ. That is, these are negatively framed question. Example, which of the following is not true? Such questions test your attentiveness and understanding of exceptions. And the fourth type of MCQ that might come in this exam is most likely MCQs. So these ask for best possible answer in the given scenario. So there may be multiple seemingly correct options, but only one is most appropriate based on professional judgment. So these varied formats test more than just rote memory. They assess critical thinking, reasoning and application skills. Being familiar with these formats can help you avoid common mistakes and increase accuracy in the exam. So now we will see an example of the 4 different type of MCQ that we just now discussed. So for this I have taken a case scenario question in the audit context. So let us read the case scenario. You are conducting a statutory audit of XYZ Limited, a manufacturing company. During your audit, you observe that the company recognizes revenue on dispatch of goods, even though some goods are lying in the warehouse awaiting shipment. The company has not yet transferred the risk and rewards of ownership to the customer. So the first MCQ here, this is multiple correct answer type MCQ. So let's see the question here. Which of the following are valid audit procedures to address the revenue recognition issue at XYZ Limited? Option A, inspect the dispatch records and compare with sales invoices. Option B, verify if the goods in transit are included in the inventory. Option C, confirm revenue cutoff by checking post year-end sales. Option D, send external confirmations to verify dispatch terms. So in this case, option A, C and D, these three are relevant audit procedures to address the revenue recognition. That is, option A is inspect the dispatch records and compare with sales invoices. Then option C, confirm revenue cutoff by checking post year-end sales. And option D, sending external confirmation to verify dispatch item. These three are the correct answers. Whereas option B, verify if goods in transit are included in inventory. This is not related to the revenue recognition. This relates to the stock. So in this MCQ, the correct answer is option A, C and D. Now the next MCQ here, which is based on the assertion reasoning. So the assertion here is the auditor should qualify the audit report if revenue is recognized without transfer of risk and rewards. Reason, revenue can be recognized as soon as the invoice is raised, regardless of delivery terms. So following are the options here. Option A, both A and R are true. R is the correct explanation of A. Option B, both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Option C, A is true but R is false. Option D, A is false but R is true. In this case, the correct answer is option C. That is, A is true, but R is false. So the auditor should qualify the audit report if revenue is recognized without transfer of risk and reward. So A is true, but this reason is false because revenue recognition depends on transfer of risk and rewards. Now we will see the third type of MCQ, that is not type MCQ. So which of the following is not a relevant audit procedure for testing revenue cutoff? Option A, review sales return after year end. Option B, verify dispatch records near year end. Option C, confirm receivables with customers. Option D, inspect internal audit report on payroll. So in this case, the relevant audit procedure for revenue cutoff are first three. And option D is not a relevant audit procedure for revenue cutoff as this relates to payroll. So this is the not type MCQ. So for this, the answer is option D. Now we will see the fourth type of MCQ, that is most likely MCQ. What is the most likely implication if revenue is recognized prematurely? Option A, overstatement of assets. Option B, overstatement of revenue and profits. Option C, understatement of liabilities. Or option D, no impact if cash is already received. So in this case, the correct answer is option B. Because if revenue is recognized prematurely, it will lead to overstatement of revenue and profits. That is, it leads to inflated revenue and profit figures. So I hope this example has given you an idea of the four different type of MCQ that we discussed. The next point discussed in this webinar was three levels of assessment. So for descriptive question, there will be three levels of assessment. So let's go and see what are these three levels. So these are the three levels based on which the assessment will be done for the descriptive type. So level 1 will be comprehension and knowledge based questions. So these questions will start with the words like define, describe, distinguish, explain, identify, illustrate, list, state, outline, understand or recognize. So in level 1 you will have to explain as it is. There is no much analysis required here. Now let's see level 2. So level 2 type of question is analysis and application based question. So in this, the questions will start with the words like analyze, discuss, compare and contrast, develop, examine, monitor, prioritize, produce, align, communicate. Or they might also ask you for some computation. So in that case, the questions will begin with words like apply, calculate, demonstrate, determine, perform, prepare, reconcile, record, use and conduct. So level 2 is based on financial factors only. So for example, if there is a question and you are analyzing if pull model or push model which is profitable. So that type of question will come under level 2 question. Next we have level 3 question. So this is based on evaluation and synthesis. So in level 3 the questions will start with the words like advise, evaluate, recommend. So in level 3, judgmental thinking also is required. So in this level, non-financial factors also have to be considered. So an example of a non-financial factor to be considered while making a decision about choosing a supplier. So suppose you are making a decision about choosing a supplier for your company. A non-financial factor to be considered will be supplier reliability and reputation. So even if the supplier offers lowest price, it's critical to assess their track record for timely delivery, consistency in product quality and responsiveness to issues. For instance, there is a supplier who delivers late frequently, or provides defective goods can disrupt production and damage customer relationships, which is far more costly in the long run than paying a slightly higher price to a reliable supplier. So in level 3, along with financial factors, you will have to consider non-financial factors also to give the decision. Also, if the question has word as evaluate, that means first you will have to give the pros and cons, that is the advantages and disadvantages both have to be stated, and then you have to give the decision or conclusion. And mostly in the exam, questions will be asked from level 2 or level 3 itself. The next concept discussed in this webinar was case study components. So case studies may be supplemented by various forms of industry insights and documentation, such as information about board of directors, extracts from management discussions and analysis, board report, independent auditors report and media coverage, etc. And additionally, you might also be required to craft written responses in various business communication formats, including emails, memos, reports, or briefing notes. So now we will see what are the components of the case study. So in the case study which will be given in the exam, there will be different components. So the first part of the case study will be about the mission, vision and objective of the company. So this is very, very important. The next part of the case study will be about the challenges and the constraints the company is facing. Then the case study will highlight as to who are the key stakeholders of the company. And then based on the case scenario given, the case study might brief you about the various strategic options available and what are the financial decisions relating to these options. And the next part of the case study might be about the regulatory and compliance factors, and it will also be about ethical and governance aspects. So it is very important to go through each of these components very carefully and highlight the important points, because the MCQ and descriptive questions which will be given later will be based on these important concepts itself. The next important point discussed in this webinar was the step-by-step approach as to how to solve the case study. So the first step is to read and decode the case study. So whenever you are studying a case study and trying to solve it, you have to read the case study, assuming the role of a senior manager, finance director, auditor or CEO as the case may be. So while analyzing and drafting the answer, this will help you in providing strategic decisions, and it will also help you to make connection with the case study. So first read the requirement part. So that is also one method. That is, first you directly go to the questions part and directly see what is there in the MCQ question and what descriptive questions are asked. And then you can go back and read the case study. So some of them like that option also. So this way you will already have the questions in your mind and you will know as to which part of the case study you should give more importance while reading. The next step is to apply the strategic models. So above we had discussed the different type of strategic models, right? So when you read the case study, try and link the case study to the strategic models. Then you will have to do the analysis of financial viability. So whatever question is being asked in the exam, you have to analyze the case study and you have to see if it is financially possible, or whether any debt has to be taken or whether any equity has to be raised. From that point of view also you have to analyze the case study. Next step will be, whatever answer you are drafting, you will have to analyze the compliance and governance part of it as well. Next step will be to develop a justified recommendation. So based on the strategic model, financial options, and also ensuring compliance and governance, you have to draft a justified recommendation. And it is very important to conclude with impact assessment. That is, writing conclusion is mandatory. So ensure you draft conclusion for each of the question. Next we will discuss as to what should be the solution structure. So it is better to draft your solution on a step-by-step basis because for each steps marks will be allotted. So first step is calculation. That is to perform all the relevant computation based on the case scenario. So in case the case scenario is asking you to compute any ratios, variances, trend, cost benefit analysis, etc. So you can make all this calculation. Next is compare with recognized benchmarks. So compare the calculated figures with the industry standards, best practices or past performance. If these information is available in the case study, you can do this step. So this will help you in identify the gaps or deviations. And the third step in your solution is analysis of the current situation. So analyze the present scenario of the company based on the facts. And you should also analyze the pros and cons. That is, pros means highlight the positive observations, strengths or existing advantages. And cons means list out the negative findings or shortcomings. The next part of the answer is the root cause. That is, you will have to identify the actual reason behind the deviation or the problems formed and focus on what is causing the issue and not just the main issue. Because in your recommendation, you will have to recommend a solution which will mitigate the root cause. So the next step of the case study solution will be recommendation. So you have to provide a practical and feasible suggestion to address the root cause and improve the situation. So this should be actionable, cost effective, and it should also align with the organizational goals. And the last step of your answer will be conclusion. That is, summarize the key points and reiterate your recommendation and link it back to how it solves the identified problem. So it is very important to write the conclusion. And one more point is, it is very important to write the answer in commensuration with the marks allotted to the question. So this will help you in completing the question paper within the stipulated time. So next some suggestion was given as to how to tackle the exam. So first step is read the instructions thoroughly. See whether the question is asking to explain, list, apply or analyze or evaluate. So previously we had discussed 3 levels of assessment, right? So based on 3 levels, you have to see the question is from which level of assessment and based on that you have to answer as per what we discussed above. The next step is to scan the case study. See requirement part of the question and then scan the case study. So as I mentioned earlier, first go through the MCQ and the descriptive question and then you can come back and study the case study. So by this you will know as to what type of questions you have to answer and you can note down the key points. The next step will be to conduct a thorough analysis. That is, read the question with open mind and do not miss out on any important points from the question. The fourth step would be apply different concepts and framework. So if the case study requires, you will have to apply different concepts and frameworks like Ind AS, GST, standards on auditing, etc. based on what the case study relates to and also on the basis of what questions are asked in the exam. The next step will be to plan the answers based on the strategic model to be applied. So first you will have to decide as to which strategic model is applicable to the given question. So for example, if you are applying the Porter 5 forces model, ensure you write all the 5 points. Do not miss out on any point. So whichever strategic model you are applying, whatever important points are there relating to that model, ensure you analyze the case study from the point of view of all those points and answer accordingly. The next step would be to organize your answers logically. So do not write in any random format. So based on whichever model you are following, ensure you draft your answers in the logical format itself. Next step is to communicate clearly. That is, write crisp and concise answers and try to draft the answers in a professional way. The language should be easy to understand and it should also be appealing. And at the same time, it should clarify the same concepts as the law tries to convey. And the next step is to consider the ethical issues. So if there are any governance or ethical issues surrounding the case study, ensure that you consider that also while drafting your answer. The next step is to develop time management skill. So as mentioned earlier, from the first question itself, write the answer in commensuration with the marks allotted to the question. So this will help you to complete the answer within the stipulated time. The next step is to review the answer carefully. That is, while writing the answer, if there are any notes or assumptions, ensure you write it carefully in your answer and if possible, underline the important points in your answer. The next step to crack this exam is utilizing the open book resources. That is, draft an index of the open book resources to be used in the exam. And the best method to do is to do it yourself. Whichever study material you have used while studying, take that itself in your exam because since you would have studied all the concept from that, it will be easier for you to refer. If you study from one study material but take another book for this exam, it might be difficult for you to refer the concept. So you must also know how to use this open book resources effectively. So this is only possible if you have studied the concepts from that book and you have also practiced as much as possible. And it was also suggested to do written practice so that you will get proper control over the question and you will also be able to complete the exam within the stipulated time. And while answering the case study, it is very important to integrate strategic decisions with financial decisions. So when you're going through the case study, first you'll have to see whether it's a public company, private company or a listed company. That is, in case of private limited company, Companies Act or FEMA rules might be applicable while drafting the answer. Whereas if it's a listed company, then SEBI LODR rules might be applicable. So you have to read the question very carefully. And also while reading the case study, the type of industry and vision statement is also very important because you will have to draft an answer keeping in mind all of these points as well. And it was also suggested to make short notes regarding the SEBI LODR regulations and also the corporate governance regulation. And you can also create a mind map for this because sometimes questions were asked from these topics as well. And also some of the students asked question that they have already completed first group, that is they have cleared first group before itself and now they are only appearing for the second group. So while appearing for this subject, how should they prepare from the first group? So for this it was suggested that from first group any two subjects you have to study. So it is better to recall the concepts from any two subjects of the first group. Maybe AFM and audit or FR and audit, whichever you are comfortable. And it is also very important to go through the corporate law section as well. That is the Companies Act. That is from your self-paced online module set A. And one more doubt asked by the student was as to what will be the weightage of this question paper, that is from different subjects how much weightage question will come. So for this it was mentioned that there is no exact weightage, but based on the past exam trend it was noticed that 30 to 40 marks question had come from DT and IDT and around 40 marks was from group 1 subjects and around 40 marks was from the self-paced online module set A and self-paced online module set B. So guys, I hope you found these insights from the ICAI webinar helpful. Remember, the IBS paper is all about strategy, both in your concepts and in also how you write the paper. Use these tips to refine your preparation and approach the exam with confidence. Basically, this webinar was conducted for May 2025 attempt. But if you are appearing for the September 2025 or later attempts also, you can still follow the points we discussed in this video, because the source from where to study, preparation strategy, etc. will be more or less the same as we saw in this video. So if you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more tips on CA final exam preparations. All the best for your exams, and I will see you all in the next video.